Good morning, it's 6:30 a.m. on Tuesday the 12th of March, and this is the 34th of 53 or so 5-mile consecutive walks. Oh God, I don't know where am I going, I don't know where I've been, but I'm walking. In March 1937, following on from the inquiry, it was announced that legal proceedings were being instigated against the owners, manager and other officials at Gresford. However, before the final trial even began, it was clear that no one would be held responsible for the explosion and subsequent death of 266 miners and rescuers. The mine's ownership would be interrogated about technical breaches of the Coal Mines Regulations Act and nothing else. "42 summonses were raised in total against Bonsall, his deputies and United Westminster and Wrexham Collieries Limited. The charges levelled against them would include the failure to provide adequate ventilation, the failure to take air measurements, the failure to keep records, and allowing shot firing without stone dusting. The trial began on the 20th of April 1937 in Wrexham, and within a week a number of summonses had already been dropped and all deputies discharged. Bonsall and the mine owners were the only ones left in the dock. They would eventually be fined £140 and ordered to pay £350 in costs. That's £8,000 and £19,000 respectively in today's money. Back in 2006, a former police officer called Jerry Toms claimed in a BBC documentary entitled Buried Truth that mining bosses should have been prosecuted for manslaughter. Toms claimed that a greater value was placed on profit than men's lives. In 1934, life really was cheap. Some believe these men were the victims of greed, and yet no one has been charged with their manslaughter. It's death on a horrific scale. Toms went on to state that Bonsall wasn't just negligent, he was acting criminally. He did not want to keep the ventilation records because they proved the mines were unsafe. Buried Truth also zoomed in on the mine agent, John Harrop, who also happened to be the mine's third biggest shareholder. Mine agents were supposed to be objective and act as a buffer between the professional running of the mine and the commercial interests of the owners. Toms believed that Harrop's large interest in the mine implicated the owners too. He said, "They must have known about the gas conditions underground. This is a tragic tale of corporate greed and indifference to the real dangers that face the men in that mine." Ultimately, it was the responsibility of the mine's owners and the management to ensure the conditions in Gresford were safe to work in, and in that duty, they failed. This walk was dedicated to William V. Matthews, Joseph McKean, William Mead, George Mitchell and Ernest Monk. And today's song is Chartist Anthem by Chumbawamba.